the key to understanding what we've experienced over the last few years starts with unlocking the power and purpose of Jubilee. And so for those watching today, Rabbi, what is Jubilee? And tell us about how the Josiah Manifesto came into being.
Yeah, well, the Jubilee is, of course, every 50 years you have this restoration, and we all think of it as a good thing. Of course, it is a good thing. But there's another side to it, and that is that, you know, if you lost your land on the Jubilee, you get it back. But if you took somebody's land on the Jubilee, it's taken from you. So there's a restitution part also as well. And that's going to set the stage. I'll give a quick thing on that. You know, the Josiah Manifesto, it's kind of like a prophetic journey where you're getting all these mysteries and then they come together. And it begins on the island of Cuba because Fidel Castro was opening the island for 1 month to give freedom for Christians to have a celebration.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah, and so they asked me to come and open it up with the shofar and the Christian. At the end, it ended in Havana at Revolution Square, and Castro came. And the Lord opened the door for me to go into the presidential palace, and someone gave me a word before it even happened that was going to happen. So I was ready.
Wow.
So I went in the palace and I had 3 gifts to give him. One was a Bible, you know, and the other was a prophetic object, and another was a prophetic message that I wrote on a piece of paper. It ended up that determined the time, how much he would have left before he'd be taken from power, to the year, to the exact day, and to the exact hour. And it was all linked to this thing about the Jubilee. You know, it was all linked to that. So now this is going to go into America. This is now going to go into America. We've all been going through years of shaking, and there was something behind it. Could there be actually a mystery behind it? And what the Josiah Manifesto is saying is that what if God was giving us a revelation of where we are right now prophetically, what's coming, how to be ready for it. Not just the mysteries, but is there an answer? Is there a blueprint from the Bible, a template that God's pointing to now that we need to know to prevail, to stand for this hour? And what if, as you were alluding to, that behind these events, there's actually an ancient calendar that's giving what's going to happen when it happens, you know, and then where is it all leading? So it's all it's like all these mysteries, they're gonna lead together to give a key to what the answer is. So what's different from other books, and what is like other books is that these are the mysteries of what's happening. But what's different is about the last 100 pages are the manifesto about what's the blueprint, how do we live, how do we prevail, how do we protect our family, how do we live in the last days and prevail. That's the Josiah Manifesto.
Wow. Well, so
I love that.
Let's go into what you talk about as far as the stunning discoveries behind the coming of the plague to America. Now, this is interesting, guys. I'm going to try to help you understand in simple layman terms that what Rabbi Cahn does is he goes back to the Bible and the Old Testament, and there are ancient mysteries that will coincide with current events that are taking place in the world today. And what that says to me is that there is a divine entity that has not only created all of this, but I mean, that has a divine time clock, and that everything just fits together so perfectly that there's no doubt, number one, that there's a God who has a plan that is perfectly laid out. And the Bible even talked about that in the last days, that things would be revealed. Do you feel like this is part of that?
I think so. Yeah, I think so. You know, where he says to Daniel, these are hidden up until the time of the end. Yeah, I believe so. Absolutely. And yeah, that's one of the things is that, listen, I was an atheist, you know, originally, you know, and it took me getting hit by a train, and it took me also by seeing that what the Bible said was going to be in the last days are coming true. And so absolutely. And
you don't want to wait that long, folks.
No.
Just go ahead and say, Jesus, come in right now. I receive you. And don't go through what Rabbi Cahn did and have to go through being hit by a train.
You don't need a train, no. Jews, it says, a lot of times it says Jewish people need strong signs. They need signs. I needed a train. So the thing is that, so when Jeremiah, prophet, he's looking over the valley of Hinnom where they killed their children. They were offering up their children as sacrifices. And he says, because of what you did to the children, judgment's going to come. Well, you can't just do that to the children and not have a judgment come. And he says that one of the ways that it will come, he says it says in the form in Hebrew of a dever gadol, which in Hebrew means a great plague. So that's one of the things. Now here's the thing. America began offering up its children, not with Roe versus Wade, but it was 1970. And that's when it began. So what happens if you go to the Jubilee of that, when everything gets undone or reversed? Takes you to the year 2020. Anything happen? The plague comes on America. So here we do this, we took life, and now life is taken. But the other thing is, it goes more than that, because there was a day that abortion actually on demand began. It was in New York. It was when the bill came up in the New York legislature. It was January 20th, 1970. That was it. That was going to lead to Roe versus Wade. Go 50 years later. Did anything happen? The plague called COVID officially entered our soil on January 20th, 2020, 50 years to the exact date, the 50th anniversary. So what we did to the children comes back on the exact day. But it goes farther. Now, remember that's when it began. But, well, when it came, you remember, it all fell in March. Like everything just fell upon us. And that's when Trump went said we're quarantined, and now not only we're quarantined, but we're also, the economy went, the lockdowns came, everything came. They said it was the day that changed everything. It was March 11th. March 11th, 2020.
That's Becca's birthday.
Was it?
That's Becca's birthday.
Oh, okay. Well, okay.
Hey!
Okay.
Wait, and there's a correlation there.
Well.
Oh, God.
Oh, no, it's bad.
No, it's not.
It's actually good.
No, you're good, and it's good. But if you go back 50 years from the day when it all fell, it takes you to March 11th, 1970. March 11th, 1970 is the exact day we began killing children on demand.
Wow.
The exact day, again, 50 years to the exact day.
And God would send children with that same birth date to stand up.
Redemption, yes.
Redeemed.
Yes.
Yay.
I told you it was a good ending there.
Yeah, but it's not only the time, it also is the place, because when Jeremiah was prophesying to Hinnom, Valley of Hinnom, he said, it's going to come, this judgment's coming back to where you did it to the children. Well, is there a Valley of Hinnom in America? There is. It's New York. New York is where abortion really spread to the continent, but it's also the capital, the abortion capital of America. More children have their lives have ended there. So notice what happened. When everything came to America, it came specifically to New York. In fact, 1 out of every 2 cases was New York. That's crazy. And at one point, on April 10th, it passed a milestone, which was that New York had more cases of this than any other nation in the world, including China, in the little place of New York. April 10th. Go back 50 years from April 10th. It takes you to April 10th, 1970. That's the date that abortion was legalized in New York. New York, again, 50 years to the exact day. You could not put this together. Nobody could put this together, but it's a fingerprint saying there's something very real going on. We've all been part of a mystery.